Hi folks, how you doing today? My name is Gar Whaley. I'm the co-founder of Teal. I'm here with my partner Reed Johnston. He is also a co-founder. Today we're going to be continuing in our monthly Microsoft 365 tips and tricks. How are you today, Reed?
Doing great. How are you
You look,
doing?
you look fantastic in that shirt. Thanks for asking.
Thank
All right,
you.
we got 20 minutes or less to get the best tips that we've used this month out to our clients and future clients. So let's get started with MS Planner versus To Do.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Share. Okay. Can you see my screen?
I can read. It looks good.
Good. So here I am in office.com, and that's really the starting place for all of these different apps that we're going to talk about today. So you go into office.com, and in the upper left-hand corner, you can go into the app launcher. The app launcher is going to show the most recent applications that you've been in. But if I hit more apps, it's going to take me to a page where I can view all apps. And these are all of the applications that come with my Microsoft license based on the subscription that I have. So the first one that I want to talk about is To Do. And To Do service unavailable. Let's try refreshing that. There, it worked that time. To Do is a personal task planning application. Microsoft purchased a software company called Wunderlist back in 2015 or so, and they sunsetted that product along the way, and they've been building out this To Do app. And the To Do app is really your place to manage your personal tasks. So I can go in here and I've got my day, which are tasks that are due today. Important are tasks that have been flagged as important. Planned are tasks that are due today, tomorrow, and in the future. Assigned to me are tasks that someone else has assigned to me through their planner or their tasks, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then flagged email, when you flag a message in Outlook, which I can show you in a minute, it will show up here. And then finally, tasks. So here I can start creating a task list. So order paper for the office. So when I do that, I've got a simple listing. I can open it up and I can add subtasks or steps. I can make it repeat. I can categorize it. I can add a file to the task, and I can add notes. The neat part about this is there is a mobile app as well. So on my iOS or my Android phone, I can open the To Do app and I can see my tasks, the ones I've created, the ones that have been assigned to me. I can create different lists as well. So like I might have a shopping list. And then when I'm in here, I can add chips or whatever else I want on my list, and I can go back into my main home task list. So that's To Do. I want to compare that now to Planner. But first, Gar, did you have any questions about To Do? Anything I
Yeah,
skipped over
uh,
too fast?
a couple. One you already asked, or one you already answered, which is I use To Do all the time on my phone. So when I'm driving around or walking around and I think of something that I need to do, I add it to the To Do. So glad you pointed out that there's a phone app. But also, two questions. Shopping list is a list of tasks.
Yep, so shopping list is just a custom list of tasks, and I don't know why it created two of them here. Maybe there's a glitch, but
I think you
you,
had one set up already when you were setting up for the
yeah,
webinar. But the other question is, and I think this is obvious, but just to state it, you are logged in to your Office account. That's why when you showed office.outlook.com that it showed all your apps, but you're logged in as a
yeah,
fictitious user right
for
now.
this demo, I created a demo user account, and that user has a E5 license, an Enterprise 5 license. So I have access to all the different apps. So if you've got Business Premium or Business Standard, you'll have a fewer number of apps. Yep,
But tasks or to-dos, I'm sorry, to-dos are included with almost
correct.
all the licenses because I've been using them since we were just using Office 365 in beta.
Yep.
All right, so next I think you want to talk about Planner.
Yeah, so next is planner, and like to do is for my personal tasks. Planner is for tracking tasks with a team of people. So I've got a tab open here for planner, but again, if I go back to my office.com, I click on the app launcher, I can find planner in the list and I can open planner. So when I go to planner, I can create a plan that will be blank, or I can start with from a template. Microsoft has some different templates. So I'm just going to create a new plan. I'm going to call it office move, because we might be moving an office, a lot of different tasks, a lot of different people involved. I can mark it public so that anyone in the organization can join it. I can mark it private so that only certain people can see it, people that I invite. So I'm going to mark it private and hit create. Now, when I create this plan, you're going to start out with a Kanban board kind of structure where you've got these different buckets. So it starts with a to-do bucket. I can create a new bucket and call it in progress. I can create a new bucket. I can say on hold, and I can create a new bucket and say complete. So create some buckets. I can create a task and I can say order the moving truck. So when I create a task, now I can easily drag these tasks between the different buckets. I can open the task and I can add progress, priority, when does it start, when does it due. I can create subtasks within this item. I can add comments. This is really nice. So you can have dialogue with different people. But where this is useful is assigning people. So here I can type in the name. I'm going to assign you to this. I'm going to say Gar. And it says, do you want to add this user to the plan so he can see the whole plan? I'm going to assign Gar. And I'm also going to assign my demo user. So now this task is assigned to both of us. And how this is extremely useful is if we're in a meeting and we're talking about the office move, we can pull up this plan, talk about these tasks, and work through these tasks together. But if I'm back at my desk later in the day and I'm trying to figure out what are all the different tasks that I have to do this week, or all the different tasks that I have to do today, I don't want to open up lots of different plans, lots of different places. I can go back to Microsoft To Do, and I'm just going to refresh this. And when I look at tasks assigned to me, now I'm going to see order the moving truck from the office move plan. And I can easily go in and click office move. It's going to open up Planner and take me right to that task. Or I can go back to, let me go assigned to me. I can go back, I can open it in Teams and I can start a chat with Gar or with other people. So it's To Do is a great place for me to manage the funnel of all the tasks coming to me. And Planner is a great place to manage tasks for a team.
And then,
And
of course, that task that you just added, order the moving truck, obviously I can see from any computer that I'm logged into Office 365, but it also on my mobile phone
yep,
when I'm out in the
it'll sync
field.
it to your mobile device as well. And here I created a plan from scratch right within Planner. But if I go into Teams, so I'm going to go back to office.com, I'm going to go into Teams. You can create a plan that is linked to a team. So here I'm in my demo account. We have our all staff group that everyone's part of. But when you're in a team, there's Don, our CEO, you can add a tab. And one of the items that you can add to a team is a planner plan. And then everyone that's part of that team will immediately have access to that plan. So Planner is a really great resource for tracking tasks within your team. Think of it as lightweight project planning, where you don't maybe need a Microsoft project license, where very complicated project planning. but just lightweight project planning and task planning. So
Yeah,
great
that's
tool.
one of the things I was going to ask, and you answered it already, of course, which is how does this relate to project? But
Yep.
it's sort of a lightweight project planner. I mean, a real life example of how we use it is for these webinars. We set up a planner, and then we have every month webinar. And as we go through the month, we have a bucket for each month. And as we go through the month and we think of different things that we're using to be more effective and efficient, we add it to the bucket for the next month so that we can bring it up. And
Yep.
then things that don't get in to the webinar, the monthly webinar, we just move to the next month and reprioritize and move them all around. So it's very helpful for that.
Yep.
All right, what's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. So that's planner and to do. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is Loop. And these tools that we've just been talking about, you can embed in Loop. So again, I'm going to go back to my office.com. I'm going to go into my app launcher and Microsoft Loop. So to start off with, Loop is a collaborative space where multiple people in your organization can simultaneously type, track tasks, collaborate on documents, collaborate on all sorts of items. So there's different parts within Loop that I want to start off with explaining. So first off is a workspace. Think of a workspace as kind of an infinite canvas of an area that people within your team can collaborate on. So I created a workspace here called My Project. And within that workspace, I can have multiple pages, multiple Loop pages that might contain different information. And I can invite multiple people from my organization to this Loop workspace. Within the workspace, I have a page, and a page is just a kind of a canvas that we can collaborate on. And Microsoft has some nice templates that I'll show you here. Like, for example, they have a decision-making Loop template. So here it's a decision, what's the question, what's the background context, constraints, assumptions, comparing ideas. They have a table that's here. Next steps are tasks, and you can add other components within this space to customize what this looks like. So that's the page. Each section that we're talking about here is what's called a loop component. And the powerful part about loop is I can share one section of this page with part of my team within Teams or within Outlook, and they can collaborate on that one section without having the entire piece open. So you remember at our last training that we did last week, we talked about using a collaborative agenda within a Microsoft Teams meeting invite. So when we did that, that was a loop component. So that was a box within here that Gar and I were able to collaborate on. So let's do that here as an example. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a new page, and we're just going to call this meeting agenda notes. And I can just start typing whatever I want. And if I want to share this with Gar, I can share the entire workspace, which is the entire project, or I can share a link to this page, or I can share the component itself. So I'm going to share the component, and I have to hit allow. And now a link has been copied to my clipboard. So I'm going to switch my screen. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to open up a new chat. Let's say Gar. And I'm going to paste that component into the message. And you'll see, give access and send. There it is.
Yeah, I was looking for a message from Reed, not demo
Yeah, but it's
user.
from demo. So now right within Teams, we're able to collaborate on this document, and I can type at the same time too. And if I go back to my loop screen, here we are. Gar's typing, I'm typing. So where is this useful? Normally, when we're collaborating, we might share a link to an entire Word document, right? To our entire team. And multiple people might be in there simultaneously editing the document, and it's confusing. With Loop, I can share, think of part of that document with one group, part of the document with another group, and the edits that they're making are contained within that one section. So it's great for a large plan or a large collaboration where you've got lots of different people in there making edits where maybe you don't want everybody to see everything else. So that's Loop. And the easiest place that it's practically used is when I go in to my Teams and I'm creating a meeting. Right down here where it says add an agenda. As soon as I click on that, that creates a Loop component. And now this agenda is visible to everyone that's invited to the meeting, and they can collaborate on the agenda items. So we know what we're all going to talk about before we get into the meeting. And we can also add follow-up tasks during the meeting for who's doing what. And everybody can see that. So we're all on the same page before, during, and after the meeting. So
Yeah,
that's a Loop component.
the other sort of high level real life example that we use is when we're in, let's say, in a meeting with a vendor, and there's three or four of us, and there's a vendor, let's say it's an antivirus vendor, and we open up a Loop component to take notes as we're listening to the vendor on important points. That way we have the loop, and you're typing in it, I'm typing in it, Tom might be typing in it.
Yep.
Um, and we especially if we're not recording it, which that's a maybe a different topic for a different day, but if it's on their meeting, we might not be recording it, so we'll type different notes into the Loop environment. That's very cool. Thanks for sharing that, Ryan.
Yep. Yeah.
All
And
right.
again, all these things, we're going back to office.com, we're going into the app launcher, and all of these items are right here. Loop, To Do, Planner, and the other apps I have access to.
Yeah, so we got a couple fun ones to finish up with. We're at about 17 minutes, and we promise not to go
Oh
long
yeah.
as 20. There's one that you taught me a long time ago, and for those that don't know me well, I'm challenged typing. I'm a hunt and pecker.
That's
Um,
called Gar Speak. Is
it's
that what you're
called
talking about?
GarSpeak, and fortunately, Copilot can speak GarSpeak, but so can Read. Um, but you showed me this great one about dictation in Windows 11. Can you show that real quick?
Yeah, so I love keyboard shortcuts, and your computer has the ability to listen to your speech and transcribe what you're saying into any box that you are in. So I'm going to go back into maybe my office move, and I'm typing a task. I can use the Windows key on my keyboard and the letter H. Now, do you see this little pop-up that says listening?
Yes.
You see, as I'm talking, it's actually typing it into this box. So that is the dictation tool. So Windows H, it pops up. I'm going to turn this off so it stops typing there. Windows H, it pops up very quickly, and you start talking, and it will type it into whatever box your cursor is in. So it did a pretty good job of everything I was just saying right there.
Where I typically use it is in instant message, specifically Teams. Um, if I have to type too long, I know there's going to be misspellings, and we're having a quick conversation, so I'll use it in Teams. Also, I'll use it in email and Outlook um,
Yeah.
to dictate something. Couple more presenter, MS Teams presenter. I think you wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, so when you're in a Teams meeting and you're sharing your screen, a lot of times you may want to show a PowerPoint presentation to someone. Now, this may be difficult for me to do when we're here, but I'm going to go in, I'm going to start a new Teams meeting. Let me just go meet now, start. block. We're going to block my camera, block my audio, video. There we go. Okay, so you can see my meeting. So I'm in my meeting. Normally, I would click share and I would share my screen. But what I wanted to show here is right below your screen, you have something called PowerPoint Live. Now, this is my demo account, so I can't quite show this. We'll show this next time. But if you had a recent PowerPoint that you were editing, it's going to show up right under there, right under PowerPoint Live. And when you click on that, it's not going to share your screen. It's going to live share the contents of that PowerPoint to your other meeting attendees. And that way you can advance through the slides. You can see what slides are next. It's a way of sharing a presentation without sharing your entire screen. So that's pretty cool. We can talk about that
Yeah.
next time.
So the reason I asked Reed to talk about this is because I use it every day, multiple times a day. When I'm going through a PowerPoint deck, I actually open the deck, and instead of sharing the screen inside of PowerPoint, there's a button that says
Mhm.
present in Teams. And
Yeah.
that, instead of sharing the screen like we had to do on this Zoom call, you're just sharing the PowerPoint. Gives you three windows. One window is what they see. One window is the default app. And then there's a window that you can click through. And it's just a much better and smoother, seamless way to share a PowerPoint. Reed, we got about 30 seconds left. I think there's one more cool one we wanted to get to, and that's the
Yeah.
add symbol in an email, which we
Yep.
use
So
all the
this
time.
is my favorite thing. When you're in an email and you're composing a new message, you're typing your message, and oh, you want to highlight somebody. You can use the at key, and as soon as I type shift 2, a list pops up of recent contacts. So if I select Gar, it's going to automatically add him to the to line, and it kind of highlights him in the message. So I can say, hey Gar, please do XYZ. Read, please do ABC. So it added both Gar and Read to the addressees of the email, and it highlighted them as I'm typing. So that is like one of my favorite features. I use that all the time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Reed. Hey, we're just a little bit over 20 minutes, so we'll sign off for this month. Talking next month, a little foreshadowing. I think we're going to talk a little bit about Copilot and selecting text and having text rewritten and those sort of things. Also, a little bit about OneNote. So, thanks
Yeah.
for today. Thanks for joining us. Give us a follow if you like what you see.
See you later.